On this episode of That Kingsville Podcast, it's the first installment of the Town of Kingsville 2026 Municipal Election Update. Woo. Yeah, we've got some news from local community groups, the Horticultural Society, Alzheimer's walk down at Lakeside Park. All that and more on this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. That Kingsville Podcast still proudly brought to you by Kingsville Brewery. Spring in Kingsville. Patios are opening, the lake looks amazing, and you've already convinced yourself it's definitely warm enough for shorts. It is 12 degrees.
And raining.
And raining, I don't care. You roll past Lakeside Park, maybe cruise down towards Cedar Beach and think, yeah, I should probably grab a case. Good news, you don't even have to leave the house. Right now, Kingsville Brewery has their beer online, 24 packs ready to go, including the legendary Light A Lager, Hazy IPA, and Hefeweizen. And if you're paying full price, you might be doing spring wrong. They've been running deals like discounted cases and even sign-up perks. Yeah, you can literally get money off just for knowing how email works.
Beer.
Technology is amazing. So whether you're gearing up for backyard season, planning a dock night, or just emotionally recovering from putting your snow brush away too early, Kingsville's got you covered. And with events like the Kingsville Block Party coming up this summer, you know these beers are going to be everywhere. Probably not at the block party, though. ChatGPT, they're not at the block party. That's top dog. Head on over to kingsvillebrewery.com, grab a case, and be the person everyone just happens to visit when the weather hits 18 degrees. Kingsville Brewery, locally made, always ready, and way easier than pretending you're going to finish that yard work. Thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for supporting That Kingsville Podcast.
Can't wait for 18 degrees again.
It's coming.
Good.
Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. Just Dave and Steve today. Kevin had a late obligation he had to attend, so, you're Kevin interruption free today, Steve.
Oh, he'll find a way.
He will find a way somehow.
Sorry to cut you off.
There he is.
Go.
Sorry.
There he is.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco. Yes, time of recording Cinco de Mayo. I'm sure every restaurant uptown, El Diablo, El Rancho, all the L's, just packed with taco.
El Domino.
Taco going folks. I don't know, Grove's probably got something going on, but yeah.
Grovo.
Yeah. It's delicious tacos. And we've talked about how lucky we are in this area to people from outside because they think tacos traditionally being like Taco Bell or like old El Paso taco kits from, the store.
Which are tasty.
But, that's not authentic tacos like we can get in this area. So if you've not been to the local Mexican restaurants.
It's time to go. Thank you.
Listen, just because Kevin's not here, Steve's not missing a beat.
Can't.
Somebody's got to carry this show. It's not going to be me.
It has to be. It will be.
Well, hey. But like the ad read said, things are opening up. People are getting out and about. And last week, we all celebrated and said our final farewells to Vern's. It was a fantastic celebration, over a weekend celebration, and then through the last week. I think I went 4 times in the last week.
Nice.
It's tough. Like we talked about in the last episode, it was tough to come to the realization that something you took for granted or depended on in certain needs is not going to be there in that entity anymore.
Yeah, there's certain things that you just never anticipate closing or going away. And it's one of those that, I think it's partly because when you have a business that's been established for so long, certainly as Vern's, but even beyond that, as we discussed, that you just assume it's going to be around forever, that your kids and then your grandkids will be like, yes, I had my wedding, pre-wedding dinner there or whatever, or they catered this. Yeah. So...
Well, it was I think I mentioned in the last episode, my mom worked there in the early 80s when we lived in Kingsville the first time. And then we moved away. And hey, Guido's was open until Vern was able to transition 20-some-odd years ago, 21, 22 years ago. And then Vern and the team, Kat and all the service staff that have been through there for the years kept that reputation and continued to build and grow on what we all appreciated Guido's for. So...
And then it's the void, not just the void of the business, but obviously the void uptown.
Mm-hmm.
You never like to see empty spaces. Certainly there's a couple that were vacant that are now, and it brings new life. I mean, even the Amazing Bins location or whatever it's called, you see them lined up waiting for
Scoring
it to
a deal.
open. But you know what? That there's still people downtown. I'm not saying they're just going to go to Amazing Bins. There's other opportunities there too. And
but it did drag people out. So through the course of the 4-ish times that I showed up at certain points in time through the last week of opening, I ran into a whole bunch of people I hadn't seen in a long time. There were people there from high school that were back in town visiting and realized, oh gosh, it's the last of Vern's. We better go celebrate. And then a lot of the people that, the schedules conflict or just you're not in the same social circles, so you don't run into them. So each time I went, I ended up running into someone or a group of people that I hadn't seen and got caught up really quickly. And we all were reminiscing about Vern's, and it was bittersweet that was the last thing that we would be able to have. So I'm proud. I'm proud to say I was a part of last call at Vern's on Thursday the 30th.
Nice.
So, it was just a bottle of blue. They were running out of everything because it was jam-packed, but my daughter was working and that whole staff, the entire month or so that they announced they were winding it down. Hats off to all of them. It's tough. It's tough to do that to a business, both emotionally and actually, understanding what those steps are to get from fully functional running business to wind it down and make sure everybody's still having a good experience on that process as things come off the menu, because they're not going to reorder stuff.
Right.
They're not going to be there. But, we got our last Johnny Breads. We got our last Panzerottis. We got our last bottles of beer and OVs and whatever it was. So, hats off again to the staff. And, if you weren't able to attend, Vern, Kat, all the staff are still in Kingsville. So, give them a thanks if you run into them, because, like I said, I know how busy it was the last couple of weeks and just how stressful that must have been. So, golly. But now we're into May, right? Cinco de Mayo. Things are blooming. All the trees are starting to be in leaf, and now it's patio season. Now people are out and about. Yeah, well, it's raining, fine. Like some April showers just got stuck into to May, but that means community groups are starting to get involved. But more so, it's election season, right? Officially May 1st. This is now official. So for those that weren't aware, the election nomination period is May 1st to
August 21st?
Yeah, we mentioned it a couple
we don't listen to ourselves very well.
But the town of Kingsville...
Because we're not the news.
We're not the news. Although we're news adjacent, right? It's a designation.
Yeah, I believe it's the 21st of August is the deadline day.
But there's been...
which is also Gold Cup Parade Day in Prince Edward Island.
Well, geez, we've got to choose whether or not you're going to attend that or... file your nomination. So what I'm looking up on the phone is, because I want to be accurate, the Town of Kingsville website is the authority for the official nominations. If you intend to run for the positions of mayor, deputy mayor, or councilor, or school board trustee, your name has to be registered with the town. And we've talked about the policy and process last episode. So if you didn't listen to that, or 2 episodes ago, if you didn't catch that, go back and listen to it. But I'm just pulling this up just so we're current as of May 5th at 7:10 p.m. So the candidates who have officially registered for the position of mayor, Roshan Nalaratnam, Deputy Mayor Kimberly DeYoung, Town Councilor Sherry Lowry, and 1 school board trustee for the is that French Catholic?
Conseil Scolaire Viamont?
Where?
I don't know. It's my best French, but yes.
Emmanuel Richer. So we are early. It is the 5th. There's only been 5 official days for...
Three for 5.
3, right, because of the weekend. So, there's signatures that have to be collected. There's paperwork that needs to be filled out and things that need to be presented. So I know online a lot of people have talked about whether or not that they intend to run, and that's fine. You can talk about whether or not you intend to, but until you've filed the paperwork and your name is official, you're not running. So,
and these are 3 candidates who filed so far, and obviously they still have the opportunity to change their mind. I believe last campaign, there was a candidate who initially was going to run in one position and then chose a different position. So, these are not set in stone, but they are, as of right now, the candidates.
Yeah, and they've done the initial step in order to declare candidacy. So, as we mentioned, later this year, probably early mid-September, we will hopefully be planning another Meet the Candidates event somewhere in the town of Kingsville. It's all really early. But we did get a lot of feedback over the last, Steve, I don't know, you've done it for how many years? And we had our last...
23.
Yeah, you've done election for 23 years?
Well, the first one I did was 2003, so...
No, hey, that is correct.
That's half my life,
That
oh my
is,
gosh.
Well, Steve. But yeah, we did have a lot of good feedback. A lot of people appreciated the effort, and some of the candidates did use. Listen, it's voluntary. We're not making any money off of it or anything like that. It's just something for the people. And you did that. You started that ages ago, way back when, to make sure that the paper could cover the event and get all of the candidates in, or all the participating candidates that choose. To be able to speak to the public.
And just going back to the school board trustees, I know depending on which school board you are running for, the candidacy is filed with a different municipality,
yes.
I believe.
Yes.
So we do have students, I believe, in town who attend all 4 local school boards. But the publicboard.ca, I'm not sure if that's Essex or Leamington. And then
I thought it was Essex.
Okay, yeah. I believe so. And then Catholic School Board, and then English French,
yeah. So, we intend every episode that we record, through the coming months, to provide an update with any new registrations or any new happenings. We will not be campaigning for anyone, nor will we have any of them on the physical podcast. However, the Meet the Candidates night is our intended media for all the viewers and the local public who want to attend the event to be able to interact with all of the candidates in that format. So, again, we give everyone the same amount of time to allow to address the public, speak about whatever it is that they want to about their campaign, provide them with some space so you can go speak with them personally before or after the event. And it's a lot of work, but it's worthwhile. And thanks to Gary for being able to help facilitate it and bring it to you all, because the YouTube hits from the last Meet the Candidates, there's a lot of traffic. So yeah, it's here.
Essex has 4 people who have filed their paperwork, and I see that. Let's have a quick debate on this one. So they actually have asterisks beside the names of the incumbents. So there's 4 people who have filed, 3 are incumbents, so 3 have asterisks beside their name. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I think it's you're already kind of people should know if you're an incumbent. And if you're not, or if they don't know, they should do their research. To me, you're almost aiding the incumbents in a small way.
But even though if you identified them as incumbent with the word, is that not the same effect?
I don't think it's the municipality's responsibility to identify the incumbent. I think it's their responsibility to also be impartial and just identify who the candidates are.
What about provincial and federal when it comes to MP and MPP?
But they don't file municipally.
Oh, I know, but well, yeah, I see.
This is just it.
I get it.
If I'm running, if all 5 incumbents are running, and then I decide to throw my name in the hat, And,
Yeah.
it's easy for me to look at them and say, okay, or easy for voters to look at them and say, okay, well, these 5 have been there and done it before, and they're doing a good job. So I don't care about this guy.
Well, that's where campaigning comes into play, right? Like getting out, meeting
Sure.
the people.
Hey, listen, this is, I'm glad this is why I asked the question. I don't think it should be on the municipality to identify who the incumbent is when, you're running for a fresh start, if you will.
Yeah. Or
So as an aside then, let's say there's a current council member that decides to run for mayor. Are they identified as an incumbent, or are they identified as a new candidate because they are an incumbent member of council, but they are not incumbent in the position of mayor?
Steve, you make a good point. You do. And I can't argue that, because you're right. It's if someone didn't realize that person was switching the position that they were looking or declaring candidacy for,
right,
and voted to your they've already been here, not realizing that one was moving to mayoral.
Right. So if you've got
duties.
two incumbents, so to speak, that are running for mayor, and they both have asterisks, obviously you don't have 2 mayors. I don't know. It's I guess it's small, and it's not even our municipality that we're focused on, but I'm glad that I don't believe that there was an asterisk beside Kim DeYoung or Sherry Lowry's name.
I don't believe so.
So
who was running in Essex as of now? And no, there aren't any asterisks.
Sherry Bondi for mayor and Rob Shepley for deputy mayor, who are both incumbents. Councillor Ward 2, Kim Verbeek, an incumbent, and Bill Baker is running for councillor in Ward 3.
Mm-hmm. And then I saw today that in Leamington, Hilda McDonald has declared her candidacy for running for re-election for mayor again. So, yeah, so far we got 2 neighboring mayors that are, seeking re-election. We'll see whether or not Mayor Dennis Rogers decides to throw his hat back in the ring, but it's early, right? We're here. We're going to bring you the Town of Kingsville Municipal Election Update. Did you like that one?
There's your voice.
Hey, that's a radio voice,
nice.
Dave. So yeah, as we were talking, there's been a lot of now activity in the community for Earth Day. The local Rotary Club did community cleanup. I participated in it. My wife's a part of South Shore Rotary as well too. Big cleanup effort. About 110 or 120 people all throughout town. Collecting garbage. We cleaned up the Greenway from Heritage to County Road 20, and then down Heritage from basically the chop shop to Cull. And we got a fair bit of garbage.
Is there a final count on how many bags?
No.
Between?
No.
Just that's too bad.
It gets to
you
go
know
in the
me.
dumpster.
I'm a numbers
yeah,
guy.
Yeah, competition. 438 bags. I think.
Great. How many tons of trash is that going into the landfill that people have just discarded throughout the community? Oh,
surprisingly, there's a lot, and then we made the recognition, and this probably or hopefully will cease to exist now that circular materials has taken over recycling. Mm-hmm. The majority of all of the things that we picked up in the bush along Heritage looked like it was recycling box blow over, and I'm sure you see a lot of it as you're walking through the communities.
Well, I mean, before the new publicboard.ca school was built, that field was a haven for recyclables. No, it was because windy day, and they would just fly down Woody Crest and across Jasperson, and that field became a catch-all for, well,
a lot.
All.
Yeah, drama, tin cans, newspaper, egos.
All of it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it's a nice school, and stop the recycling.
So community getting together. I believe there was a contingency from the Lions Club. Pollinate Kingsville was there. A bunch of people all came out. Mayor Dennis Rogers was there. Kim DeYoung was there, all participating, helping clean up. And it was a lot of fun. A little cold, a little rainy, but hey, we got the job done. Had a nice reception at Pele Island Winery afterward with some burgers and hot dogs. So yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see a bunch of people getting together and cleaning up town.
Well, good for everyone who participated, and thank you on behalf of those that didn't.
Well, that's exactly why I mentioned it. I was looking for your kudos.
There you go.
I appreciate it. Me and my ego. Well, Steve, like I was saying,
Dave,
community groups, Kingsville Horticultural Society.
they've got a lot going on.
They do. So, Steve, you had some contact.
Yes. So Annette Cooper reached out on behalf of the Horticultural Society, and they've got a lot going on. And we may be able to get her on to kind of speak to the major event that's coming up. But it is a vintage garden tour, tea and flower show, taking place July 11 and 12. Tickets are now available at the Carnegie Arts and Visitor Center. I don't want to make this an ad, so I'm not going to say the price or anything like that. Because while we love to talk about events, we're not necessarily free advertising.
Yeah, but they've got big membership, and the Horticultural Society has been in Kingsville for over almost 100 years.
Yes, so
over 100 years.
So what in my conversation with Annette, one thing, because she wasn't able to come on the podcast tonight, they're having an important planning meeting for this event. They're actually doing their tastings tonight. So I thought, well, I guess we can't talk if that's happening. But I did ask some questions as to the value of horticultural societies. And, in my years working with the paper, I certainly covered a lot of events the Horticultural Society did. And it was always a very dedicated group. And I actually said to her, I'm going to be very, very stereotypical here and say that, it always seemed like it was a dedicated group of sort of retirees and older people who enjoyed gardening and wanted to help beautify the town. And she actually told me how it has really evolved, that there are young adults and they have kids programs now that they are really taking initiatives with. So I'm going to have to kind of scroll through all the information here.
The Girl Guides have come with their leaders to help Carnegie Garden, with the Carnegie Garden, to earn some badges. And they have a junior gardening program through the summer where kids ages 4 to 14 learn to create, plant, and maintain gardens and grow their own food and flowers. And they've got a fall fair where they bring their best produce and flowers to be judged, winning ribbons, medals, and cups. And in August, they've got a monarch workshop where hands-on learning event for the whole family, and they encourage the community to raise their monarchs to release as a part of the migration. So
okay. Well, and in response to my question, she said it isn't a seniors-only society. People who didn't have a love for gardening have found the benefits to a healthy, stimulating, and purposeful engagement. The Kingsville Horticultural Society, since 1912, one of the main ambitions is to beautify, cultivate, and maintain natural beauty in the town, as well as work together as teams. Their volunteers range in age from 4 to almost 104. They had CD Saturday on March 21st, Seeds and Bake Sale, Kids Zone vendors, the annual plant sale. And if anyone is listening to this before 10 a.m. on Saturday, May 9th, the plant sale is at the Lions Hall, 21 Mill Street, from 10 to 3. But let's be honest, by 10:30...
it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
I remember one year I was new to this, and I showed up at like 11.
Yeah, no.
And I had to basically say to one of the volunteers, can we take what's left here and maybe try and make a picture with the volunteers? Lesson learned. And then I was like, every year after that, it was sneak in the back door and get the literal onrush of crowds. It was like Black Friday sale for plants.
Quick! It's the Horticultural Society sale!
Let's see what else here. Monthly meetings, January to May, September to October. June members potluck. November is the AGM. December they do a Christmas party. The town garden is taken care of by the Horticultural Society. Wow, I'm so tongue twisted today.
Horticultural.
Thank you. Active members care for Kingsville, Cedar Beach, Cottam, and Ruthven. They have 36 planters, 35 garden beds, and 3 raised beds. You mentioned the Girl Guides and their junior gardening program. On August the 8th is the Monarch Workshop.
I mentioned that too.
Thank you.
Sorry. But
Sorry. No,
some of the
that's
things
good.
that they did around the community this year.
Do that.
So they donated a memorial bench in Lakeside Park overlooking the Stone Bridge, Mill Creek, and Lake Erie. And then some metal fish were created from local farm equipment, which were donated to the Carnegie Arts and Visitors Garden Center. Jack Miner's Rose Arbor is being built, installed, and donated this year by the Horticultural Society. There's a lot that they have within their kind of realm of how they facilitate. But another big event that they have going on later this summer, July 11th and 12th, is the Vintage Garden Tour.
Yeah, that's what
Tea
I talked
and
about.
Flower Show, right? So that
Yes.
is a big one for them, which tickets are available now at the Carnegie Center, or you can kingsvillegardentour@gmail.com. Email them, purchase tickets. It's big support for them in order to continue all their wonderful service throughout the town.
And it's a good thing we have the Horticultural Society beyond just the activities they're doing, because we've seen in recent years how, and I don't want to harp on the town or pick on the town, but staffing issues have certainly led to some neglect in certain areas of the town when it comes to the garden areas. So having the Horticultural Society maintaining areas is a bonus for the town as a whole.
It's things you take for granted because you see the efforts and you see all the work, but you don't realize what goes into it. And volunteers from the society, it's a pride of passion, right? And it's great that we have committed individuals that's their concern. They want to make things. Wow, there's a new sounder for you.
Sorry, folks.
Doing. But that's what they want to do, and we all benefit from it, and you just don't realize it. So, if you're able to participate in some of their events, check them out. Like I said, go to the show later in July, see some of the things that they've provided around town. Participate. Another thing that's happening is the Kingsville Alzheimer's Walk, Saturday, May 30th at Lakeside Park. Registration begins at 8:30 and the walk starts at 10 a.m. Live music and raffle is planned as well. Register or donate in advance. Search Alzheimer's Walk 2026 and select Kingsville. So it's Alzheimer's Walk 2026 and select Kingsville. Last year, our Kingsville Walk raised over $13,000. If you're interested in more details or want to participate, you can contact Barb Pye at 519-733-3503. So Alzheimer's Walk, Lakeside Park, Saturday, May 30th. Registration begins at 8:30 in the morning. Walk starts at 10. If you're wanting to support that event as well. So we talk about things changing and things in the local community. There's a little bit of news in an adjacent community, but it does have a Kingsville connection. So the town of Amherstburg just recently denied the proposal that the Loop family with, was it Amico?
Yes.
To renovate and repurpose the
Bellevue
Manor in Amherstburg. And it's just off of Dalhousie, if I remember correctly. I can't remember the street. Yeah, it is. Right.
Yeah, just off Dalhousie.
Just off Dalhousie. Beautiful estate that the town purchased 20 some odd years ago. I believe it was 03, if I remember correctly, but hadn't had any tenants or any purpose, but it was a significant facility within their community. So there's plenty of news coverage on it, CBC, Windsor Star, etc. But the Loop family from Kingsville here made a proposal to repurpose it for an event space, restaurant, businesses, and lodging. And I believe there was even some rental properties within that parcel of space. But that unfortunately was denied by the Amherstburg Council, which I'm sure there's reasons for it. But in today's environment, it's sensitive when it comes to, are we preserving things just to preserve them? And if we're not doing anything with them, if we're not restoring them and utilizing them for the intended benefit, then why are we purchasing them for heritage designation and or just to sit mothballed and erode and rot away? So, yeah, it's an unfortunate, I guess, outcome. And again, with the local connection with the Loop family, I'm sure that their proposal, would have breathed some life within that building and that community. But Amherstburg in whole has been doing some fantastic things and revitalizing themselves. We had Richard
Petty on a few years ago, and the work that's been done downtown with the bookstore and around there. But it is a tough situation. I mean, Amherstburg is deeply rich in history. I mean, that the walk along Dalhousie up to Richmond, and then just beyond to, I can never remember, is it Navy Park?
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's probably one of the prettiest points in Essex County. I used to love doing that walk.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Delivering that walk and just, because it would be right near the end and it was the perfect way. It just kind of got you back. But it is a tough situation, like you say. At what point do you say, listen, it's almost a huge project? Is it too big a project? Mm-hmm. Because it is a significant amount of land and structure, but what value does it have in its current state?
And that's the difficulty. If there isn't an intended purpose to restore it with a historical context, and it remains to be unutilized and further degrade in structural integrity, at what point is it a net loss that whatever the cost would be to the municipality to revitalize it outweigh whatever benefit it would ever come out with?
Right.
So, I'm hopeful that because, it's a part of our community. This whole end of the province, I classify as our community, except for, a couple of small places like Cottam. I don't know. Is Cottam really there? Sorry, Sherry. But these are the reasons why we tell people to come to our areas. Yeah, Fort Malden's beautiful. Take the river walk along Riverside Drive in Windsor. Go to Lighthouse Cove. I know that's Kent County, but like you kind of, it's Kent County, isn't it? Lighthouse Cove.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah,
actually,
just on the
just the other. Yeah.
So, but it like from all the points, Point Pelee, through Colchester and Holiday Beach and everything, they all kind of play together. And when people come into town, I would hope that the only thing that isn't bringing them in is just one thing, and they miss a lot of all the other really great things that we have.
Well, I think beyond just the wineries, the drive along the South Shore is fantastic. From Amherstburg to Kingsville, to Seacliff Park.
Yeah.
And into the Leamington Marina. It's what's happened there over the last 20, 30 years has been fantastic. From obviously the winery sort of leading the development, but the little pop-up stands and the flower, is it the... I'm trying to think what it... But
the lavender
yes,
farm? Yeah.
Well, there's that, but like there's a couple little just even flower stands that just add to it.
Like 15, 20 years ago, there was Explore the Shore along County Road 50, which, there was several different identified spots, and people came in and had a passport of sorts and hop, skip. It was a decade ago, a little more than a decade ago. But it was that kind of an awareness that people were having that, there's more out here. There's more things to, John R. Park Homestead just had their huge renovation with their new visitor center. And if you haven't been, go. Like, it's all these little assets that we have within our region that the Bellevue House could have been or can still be a part of the destinations that you should visit. But, we take it for granted what we have and the proximity of everything that we have here, that I think we lose sight about what we have to keep and what's important to us. And there's no slight against designating heritage facilities or buildings or houses in order to preserve what we have. But then if it's a matter of it end up being an eyesore,
or just a place for animals to inhabit.
Roost. Like, Kingsville's going to undergo some significant transitions in the coming years, right? The West Side Collector Road, that's one thing that we're starting to see now with County Road 20 and the water line that's being put in. The roundabout will be, months behind.
I don't believe they're going with the roundabout. I think it's going to be signaled intersection now. At Heritage and County Road 20.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, guess I should listen to that Kingsville podcast because I'm sure those guys talked about it at some point. But they're not the news, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, it's going to be signaled now. So.
Well, hey, another light in Kingsville. I remember when we just had one.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
I think we had more back in the 20s and they just got rid of them. And just
in actual, well, the one back then, the one in town was one right in the
middle.
In the middle. Yeah. Which made it slightly difficult too because the intersection is slightly skewed. It's not like it's just a straight.
No, it is not. It's not a 90 degree.
And I'm so old, I remember that light.
Well, I was going to say there will be people in town that will remember the light. I was
going to say, Gary, you're
I didn't want to put Gary on the spot.
I mean, he's a little guy, but I do remember it. I remember being exits there all the time.
Yeah.
People just run into it.
Well, yeah, because nobody expects a street light in the middle of the road making a left turn from Division to Main. Whoops a daisy. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that development on the west side, the neighborhoods, the road, the connection to Road 2. And then, we have the unknown about what's going to happen with both the school properties. So there hasn't been any official announcements about that, but that's a significant two significant parcels of property within the downtown core that everybody passes every time you go north or east.
Right, and one that will have a very big impact on the immediate downtown. I mean, that KPS property's location and size is significant.
Mm-hmm. So, nothing to report, or not because we're not the news, but there's speculation, there's rumor, not going to even acknowledge any of it until an official word comes out that, what's going to happen with those properties. But, the town of Kingsville has history, and it's steeped in all of the generations of the buildings that our historical society has determined as being assets within town. These two things, with the KPS, there's a little bit of that, but it's so far run down and degraded. I don't think it's worth preservation. But hopefully, what gets built there is an asset that contributes to the attraction to the town of Kingsville. So. There's more development that's happening between Kingsville and Leamington as well through Ruthven. We're in a very transitional period for this community. A lot of people, naysayers, and
what impact is the widening of Highway 3 going to have to?
I was going to shave about a good 8 minutes off of my commute.
Oh, for sure.
So
but I mean,
fantastic.
I'd like to think too, it's going to make the towns even more accessible for people to get to. Obviously, the drive is a little bit quicker. You say, oh, well, it's 20 minutes from Windsor.
So did anyone notice that we've lost the LTW bus route?
I heard they were stopping from Leamington. I didn't realize, I guess I haven't seen it around.
The funding for the LTW bus route was not approved because of the expense, and the ridership wasn't exactly what they'd intended. And that was announced back in October, November timeframe. But I noticed it because I no longer had to contend with any buses this week, which in my morning commute at 7 a.m., there's at least one bus that I encounter between Kingsville and Essex.
Okay.
So it was unusual to not have that because it had been around for a few years. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious also what that will do to the people that don't have transportation, how they'll be able to function in those needs where they were needing to get between the communities. But also, will it spur things like taxis and Ubers in order to facilitate people moving around the communities?
Well, the town of Essex doesn't have a taxi service.
No, they don't?
No.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
So... No, I said that. Now I lost my train of thought.
Is Steve? No taxis.
No, it was tied to. Oh, so I understand that maybe ridership wasn't what it was, but did they do any sort of surveys to find out how many people use it regularly and what they use it for? And could it have been modified? Could they have done 1 or 2 trips a week? Could they have done something? Because I remember covering county council years ago, and there was always a push for public transit throughout the county. There was a need. And I would see the buses, and I might see 1 or 2 people on, but I saw like 6 or 7 at times, and I thought that's good to see. Did they just say, okay, the ridership is this, it costs this?
Yeah, the expense to run that buses was hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And if you're not getting the service utilization, it's a never profitable business model. And ultimately, that's what it is. It's a business.
It is, but I also look at it as a need.
Sure, and that's why the local communities offset Windsor Transit Windsor and paid for part of that service, but Leamington, Kingsville, Essex wasn't getting the ridership that the other tax dollars were going to help
Fair
fund.
Enough.
So,
yeah.
It's again, there's lots of information about this, but it was just one of the things that I recognized this past week, having been after because they suspended or they continued the service until the school year was over to not leave students who were commuting into the city to the university or St. Clair College without their rides in order to finish their semester. Okay. So now they would have enough time to
prepare for next year
and find alternative transportation methods.
Makes sense. Okay.
So,
I understand.
Yeah. Steve, soccer update.
Won our playoff game today, 9-2.
And
have to go to Lesueur for the 4th year in a row.
Oh boy. How's the field conditions? It's wet.
Okay, so we talking school field or we talking town field? Because we played the first 2 games. We played 2 regular season games at the school, and it's not ideal. Mm-hmm. It certainly has some challenges, and from what I understand, it will be worked on this summer. That being said, it was nice that we were able to play a couple of games at the school. We did play our playoff game on the town fields tonight, well lined. Grass was a little long, but they actually when we arrived, they were cutting parts of the field, but it's tough to keep up this time of year. Obviously, the fields as a whole are fine. As a purist, I mean the goalposts, the nets are too short and they're square goalposts, and I hate square goalposts for 2 reasons.
Well, I know one of them. One
is a safety issue. Because, you got a couple of people battling for a ball. You go into that. A round post is much more forgiving.
A little easier to take.
And the second one is what it does to the ball.
Yeah. Did you lose one on a post?
Actually, you know what? As an aside, years ago in practice, Gary's son Clinton absolutely leathered a kick. And it hit the crossbar and just popped. So there was a little bit of a peg sticking out of the crossbar. And he hit it, and the ball just deflated on the spot. And I just stood there, and I had to laugh. I'm like, okay, we're down a ball, but that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
You put that in the yearbook.
The fields, so there's been a lot of Are we going here with the fields?
No, more so I was just talking about the moisture and the amount of...
Yeah,
It's like you can't criticize it because of weather conditions and how things have to kind of evolve through this seasonal period.
But it's... See, again, not being on Facebook, I don't know what the chatter's been, but I know there's been chatter because seasons have been delayed.
Yeah.
And traditionally, the city of Windsor is not allowed people on the fields before May 1st. So minor soccer generally starts in April, and parents will go out there and shiver and complain about the cold, and they'll be out there in their toques and their winter coats and their boots and everything like that. But the kids are running around having fun. Mm-hmm. If I'm minor soccer and I'm preparing for a season, it would be nice to know in September that the fields are not going to be open until May the 1st. And from what I understand, that wasn't the case. This was sort of a later decision. And if I'm being critical, it's not like these fields compare to most others in the county. I've just talked about the goalposts. Mm-hmm. They drain not well, but in the summertime, if we don't get rain, they dry out so fast that I've officiated games in running shoes because the cleats on soccer shoes have
Oh,
become skates.
Yeah,
like you slide on the mud.
yeah.
So I kind of look at it and think it's not like we have like these beautiful expanses like Leamington does. We don't have turf fields like several other municipalities. You're really holding people back here.
Like I can understand closing the fields for a prolonged amount of time if there was an excessive amount of rain.
Yes.
Right. Because
Right.
that will damage. You'll pockmark the fields, and
But
that's difficult to repair.
They would close them on certain nights in April. Like, and that made sense to me. Like, you've got standing water. If you have standing water, absolutely close the fields. But to just say they're closed till May 1st, when we had several dry days there, and it used to be that as soon as you got on there, or as soon as you could get a mower on there, okay, let's get them cut because we know soccer wants to play,
Yeah, can it go?
so on and so forth. So I'm not laying blame at any individuals. It's just it all of a sudden seems these policies have come in, or this idea has come in when after organizations are expecting to get on there.
Yeah, it's tough to get regularity and get scheduling when
Right.
there's inconsistency.
And the other part of it is if we're going to the user agreement that the town entered with the school, and again, I don't know the details, but it was sort of, the town can use the facilities at the school and the school can use town facilities. Well, our regular season, which is only 6 games, finished April 30th. So our regular season was done prior to the fields even opening.
Right.
So we had our schedule away game, like front end loaded. We only played 2 of our 6 games at home because we couldn't get on town fields. So I was like, well, that's a heck of an agreement for the town.
Yeah. And you said you played at the school, at the current publicboard.ca school in Jasperson?
Yes.
Not at the old Kingsville District High School?
No. We did not play there at all this year. Last year we were able to play our games there, but this year obviously with the transition, we weren't able to play, which, that's fine. Like we knew that was going to be the case. The school did get goalposts put in.
It's going to take some time to
develop. And it will, and that's just it. And there's injury risk with the field is its current state, but I'm not a huge fan of turf fields either. The number of guys that come off that have almost rug burns on their knees or their elbows because of the turf fields.
Yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but
yeah,
there is some progress. There is some things that are happening.
Yep.
But like you said, the inability to schedule around does make things a little bit difficult, especially when kids are involved in multiple sports, seasonally multiple sports, because now soccer may bleed into baseball season, may bleed into tennis or other things that are now going to start taking place over the coming weeks as we kick off late spring here in southwestern Ontario, Canada. So, yeah, lots happening. Again, get out in the community, celebrate, see everything that is going on. Participate in the Alzheimer's walk if you want to. Go eat a taco. Thanks for joining us on this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. We'll see you next time.
We're not the news.